Okay, this is a quick overview of the installation of the HomeFusion broadband service. As you can see, we are at our antenna, and as you see, both of our lights are green now. That means that we do have a signal, and we also have a connection between the antenna and our router. Now, as far as the wiring goes, as you see on the side of your mount here, we do have a green screw. That is where your copper messenger that's attached to your RG6 coaxial is going to make a connection there for your static ground. Also on the other side, you notice that there is a service loop. I do prefer service loops. It does help out later in the future if we ever do have to come out for some type of repair or bad fitting or something. You've always got a little extra cable there. Also, as you come down, you also notice that we have 4 points on our bracket that we made, had screws. That way that you do have a secure mount to the structure. In some instances, you're not going to get all 4 screws. If you mount it to the eave of a house, you can only get 3. But if you'll notice, at the top you have the 2 corners, and then you'll have a center hole right down behind the actual J bracket that you can put another screw in. Also, as we come down the wire, you notice that we have our clips. We do want our line clipped tightly to the structure. As I come down, we'll move the ladder out of the way, and it comes down to our ground block. Now, notice on our ground block, we have rubber grommets. Rubber grommets are a must. Must put a rubber grommet on a ground block or a barrel if you're making a splice. Also on our ground, make sure that you use a number 10 solid copper ground and ground it to power. If you don't have a number 6 copper ground going to your meter, you can use a meter clamp or a meter strap, but make sure that the system is grounded to power. There is no other exceptions. No cold water, no air conditioning units. You make sure you ground it to power, and that's it. Also, you notice at the ground block that I have service loops or drip loops. The reason for them to fall down is so water will drain away from the connectors. Now, coming off of our ground block going down on our outlet, you will see it's tight, strapped, and there is a drip loop at the entry point of the structure. Also, if you don't have any plugs, make sure that you fill the hole around the wire with silicone to make sure you seal up that hole so no ants or bugs or any other kind of critters can get into the customer's home. And again, I stress, grounding is a must. If you cannot ground that system, you do not install that system. On the ground block, you will see I have my messenger grounded at the top right here, and then I have my actual power ground grounded right here. Now, if you're using a single ground block that only has one grounding point, then you can put both grounds in that one. Just make sure that it's tightened down to where they're both good, tight and snug. And again, on the fittings, we don't use screw-on fittings. We don't use crimp-on fittings. We use compression fittings, preferably with a rubber seal, so when the fitting is compressed, it does make a weather, proof seal so water doesn't get into that connector. Alright, well, that does it today for the basic install. I appreciate y'all's time. And again, thank you.